This is our daily top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis video for August 16, 2019 in preparation for the next trading day on Monday, August 19. I am JC De Guzman. I'm going to give you my technical analysis for SMC, PIP, DMC, PHA, LPZ, JGS, Security Bank, Bloom, SSI, and CAB. After which, I'm going to give you my overall sentiment with my recommendations. As usual, I'd like to mention 2 to 3 reminders before we start with the analysis itself. First, if you are going to enter a new position in any stock, be reminded that you have an extra process that you must go through, and that is the calculation of your reward to risk ratio. Even if the 10 SMACD combo is valid, even if the momentum power indicator is bullish, if you are not satisfied with your reward to risk ratio, you should not enter a new position in any stock. Okay? Take note of that. Number 2, if any of these stocks start at a price lower or higher than the dominant range that I am about to say or mention, and if you happen to be interested in trading that stock, make sure that you post a request for that particular stock's latest trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts in our private clients forum. Okay, and lastly, even if from time to time we're going to talk about an index or a blue chip stock in this video, be reminded that this video is for short-term trading purposes. If you're looking for a long-term advice, make sure that you check the investors tab on your account, or ask inside the private clients forum. Okay? So we're going to start with the first stock in our list, which is SMC. SMC closed on Friday at 183.7. It broke above its previous resistance at 180.95, which is now acting as its immediate support. The immediate resistance is at 187.4 as a precursor to 195.5. The 3 simple moving averages are already in a perfect bullish position. The 10 SMACD combo is already valid. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 14.4 million pesos on Friday. RSI is upward sloping. It's still in the neutral level. The risk level of SMC remains low. The positive DMI is already hovering the negative DMI, but the ADX score is still at 14.4 points. The the trade and volume distribution chart shows that the dominant range of SMC last Friday was between 176 to 183.7. This makes the momentum power indicator bullish for SMC. The true market sentiment for SMC, on the other hand, is bearish. My overall sentiment for SMC is still bullish. So if you have had SMC in your portfolio and if it is still trading above your trailing stop loss, you have 2 options. It's either you hold your position and do nothing, or you can top up, add more shares, position within the dominant range, not at any random price. Now, if you are planning to enter a new position on SMC, you can also go ahead and position within the dominant range, provided you are satisfied with your reward to risk ratio. Those who attended the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market seminar, I already taught you how to identify your reward to risk ratio with respect to your stocks, to the stock's latest price and its immediate support and resistance. Do not forget, everyone, do not forget to identify your trailing stop loss as well. Know when it is needed to adjust the percentage of risk applied to your trailing stop loss. It's in lesson number 6 on your handouts. So after SMC, we have Pepsi. PIP closed on Friday at 1.92. The immediate support is at 1.54. Resistance is at 1.95 as a precursor to 2.4. The three simple moving averages are in a perfect bullish position. The 10 MACD combo is already valid. It's already valid. On the other hand, foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 23 million pesos, and they have been on a net foreign selling status for the past 4 straight trading days. RSI is in the neutral level. It's upward sloping. The risk level of PIP is already high. The positive DMI is hovering the negative DMI, but the ADX score is still at 17.5%. The trade and volume distribution chart of PIP shows that the dominant range is between 1.85 to 1.92. Combining all of that, the momentum power indicator is bullish. The true market sentiment of PIP is bearish. However, my overall sentiment for a PIP as far as our 10 MACD combo and momentum power indicator are concerned, I am bullish on PIP. If you have PIP, because it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, you can also top up within the dominant range. Now, if you are interested in entering a new position, be careful first. You have to calculate and be satisfied with your reward to risk ratio. At this point, I think you are better off buying on breakout. For as long as the 10 MACD combo is still valid and the momentum power indicator is still bullish, once it breaks above 1.95, of course. After PIP, we move on to DMC. DMC closed on Friday at 9.25. Support is at, I had to plot the down Fibonacci to identify its psychological support, which is in confluence with a 61.8% retracement of the down Fibonacci, which is around 7.11. The resistance is at 9.69 as a precursor to 11.15. The foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 17.5 million pesos on Friday. The 10 MACD combo remains invalid. RSI already hit the classical oversold level last Thursday, so it bounced away from the classical oversold level on Friday. So the risk level of DMC is already moderate. The downward momentum remains very strong based on what I see on the DMI and ADX chart. The trade and volume distribution chart of DMC shows that the dominant range last Friday was between 9.17 to 9.26. 9.16 to 9.26. So the momentum power indicator is bullish, but take note that 10 MACD combo remains invalid. The true market sentiment of DMC last Friday was neutral. My overall sentiment for DMC remains bearish. Even though the momentum power indicator is bullish, the 10 MACD combo is valid. Do you still remember what I highlighted during the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market seminar? What did I say about when can you only preempt the 10 MACD combo? That is when the momentum power indicator is bullish and when you regard yourself as an experienced and a disciplined trader, unless and until your answer to those questions is both yes, and you should not do a test buy on DMC. Okay? After DMC, we move to PHA. PHA closed on Friday at 0.56. Support is at 0.148. Resistance is at 0.78. The 10 MACD combo remains invalid. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 1.2 million pesos. RSI is upward sloping, but it's a lot closer to the classical oversold than the overbought level. The risk level of PHA is already still extremely high. The downward momentum remains very strong. PHA is not yet out of the woods. It still has lots of resistances that it needs to break. The dominant range of PHA on Friday was between 0.53 to 0.57. Although this makes the momentum power indicator bullish, take note that the 10 MACD combo remains invalid. The true market sentiment, however, was bullish. So let's see on Monday if these bullish traders could actually pull up, pull up the price toward the immediate resistance level, or at least above the 0.60 level. Let's see on Friday. Let's see on Monday rather. My overall sentiment on PHA is still not that bullish. I would rather say that I'm still bearish on PHA. I'd like to see the 10 MACD combo to be revalidated for me to have a completely bullish overall sentiment for PHA. So remember what I taught you during the seminar on when can you only preempt your 10 MACD combo. Okay? For now, if your answer is not a yes on those two questions, don't do a test buy yet. Okay? After PHA, I move on to LPZ, Lopez. So LPZ closed on Friday at 4.65. It touched its immediate resistance at 4.65 itself. Support is at 4 pesos per share. So let's see on Monday if it can break above the resistance at 4.65. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 14 million pesos. The 10 MACD combo is not yet completely valid, but MACD is poised to cross above the signal line already. One more green candlestick on Monday, and we will be seeing MACD registering a golden cross above the signal line. So once that happens, once it breaks above 4.65, the acting resistance will be 5.06 and support will be 4.65. The risk level of LPZ is low. The positive DMI already crossed above the negative DMI. So let's see if this will sustain its green candlestick on Monday. The dominant range of LPZ last Friday was it's between 4.6 to 4.65. That makes the momentum power indicator bullish. On the other hand, the true market sentiment of LPZ last Friday was bearish. So let's see if these not so confident buyers last Friday can manage to break above the resistance at 4.65 on Monday. My overall sentiment for LPZ is bullish. Okay? It's already bullish, but if you are planning to enter a new position, I would suggest that you wait for a breakout before you entertain the idea of doing a test buy. If you already have a position on LPZ and it's still trading above your trailing stop loss, then you have a data-driven reason to top up within the dominant range. Now, we move on to JGS. These are now the top 5 losers last Friday. JGS closed on Friday at 63.5. Support is at 56.2. Resistance is at 69.6. So the foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 10.4 million pesos. Our 10 SMACD combo has been invalid in the case of JGS since the 3rd week of July. RSI is downward sloping, although it's still in the neutral territory. The risk level of JGS is already moderate. DMI is the negative DMI is hovering, the positive DMI and ADX is already above 25 points. That means the downward momentum is already very strong. The trade and volume distribution chart shows that the dominant range of JGS last Friday was between, let's zoom this out, it was between 63 point, it was at 63.5. It was forced closed at the intraday low itself. Now, if JGS will start on Monday at a price higher than 63.5, watch out for the price between 64.15 to 65.35. We might see JGS moving within that range again, but only if it will start at a price higher than 63.5. Otherwise, we have to check lower prices. the true market sentiment of JGS last Friday was bullish. So there's still a chance really for JGS to bounce above 63.5 on Monday, but that's not a guaranteed condition. We have to adjust our trading plan according to the prevailing sentiment and data that we have. Now, with all of those things mentioned, my overall sentiment for JGS remains bearish. The 10 MACD combo is invalid. The momentum power indicator is bearish. Don't enter a new position yet. Okay? For short-term trading purposes, none of you should already have a position on JGS for short-term trading purposes. Now we move on to Security Bank. So SECB closed on Friday at 182.4. It broke below its previous support at 184.6, which is now acting as its immediate resistance. The immediate support is at 173.2. Despite this descent below the 10-day simple moving average, the three SMAs are still aligned in a perfect bullish position. But take note that our 10 MACD combo is no longer valid in this case. Foreign investors registered a measly net foreign selling worth 3.2 million pesos on Friday, and they have been let's check if they are still net sellers for 2019 for year to date. The risk level of RSI remains moderate. RSI is downward sloping, although it's still in the neutral level. The positive DMI is still hovering the negative DMI, but the former has been downward sloping since last week already, meaning to say there's a diminishing force for the bulls. Now, the dominant range of Security Bank last Friday, with respect to its closing price of 182.4, was still at the intraday low at 182.4 itself. Now we have to keep an eye on this other range around 187.2 to 190, just in case Security Bank will start at a price higher than 182.4 on Monday. Take note that the true market sentiment remains neutral. It's still neutral in the case of Security Bank. So there's no guarantee that on Monday that it will go back to its previous range between 184.6 to 195.4. We have to continue monitoring on Monday. Again, the 10 MACD combo is invalid and the momentum power indicator is bearish. At this point, I'm not encouraging anyone. I don't want to encourage anyone to do a test buy. There are no buy signals. The downtrend is still more likely to continue. It was first closed at its intraday low on Friday. Take note of all of those things. If you are still having Security Bank just because your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, you can hold your position. I don't see a data-driven reason for you to be alarmed and preempt your trailing stop loss. Okay? So hold your position, don't top up, don't average down. There's nothing noteworthy for you to average down in Security Bank. Now, moving on to Bloom. Bloom closed on Friday at 10.30. It's now at the brink of breaking below its resistance at 10.30. Resistance is at support is at 10.30. Resistance is at 11.15. Once it breaks below 10.3, the acting support will be 9.3, and of course 10.3 will be the acting immediate resistance. The 10 MACD combo has already been invalid since August 13. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 15.8 million pesos on Friday. The 10 MACD combo is already invalid, if I have not mentioned that yet. RSI is downward sloping and is inching closer to its classical oversold level. The risk level of Bloom is already moderate. The negative DMI is increasing its distance above the positive DMI, although ADX is still at 20.8%. it looks like the downward momentum is growing further. The downward momentum is getting stronger rather. Okay, now let's check the trade and volume distribution chart. The dominant range of Bloom last Friday was between 10.3 to 10.64. That's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. The true market sentiment is neutral. Take note that the momentum power indicator is already bearish. So I don't encourage everyone also to enter a new position. Don't enter a new position yet on Bloom. There are no buy signals. Don't average down as well. And I do hope none of you still have Bloom in your portfolio. Next, SSI. SSI closed on Friday at 2.87. It's also at the brink of breaking below the support at 2.84. Resistance is at 3.12. 2.84 is the precursor to 2.53. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 1 million pesos on Friday. The 10 SMACD combo has already been invalid since the third week of July. RSI is approaching the classical oversold level. It's still downward sloping. The risk level remains moderate. And the downward momentum is getting stronger, although ADX is still about less than 2 points away from touching the 25-point mark. The dominant range of SSI on Friday was between 2.87 to 2.9. That's closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. The momentum power indicator is bearish on SSI. The true market sentiment was bearish also for SSI last Friday. So my overall sentiment for SSI remains bearish. Don't enter a new position yet. I hope none of you have SSI. Remember what I taught you in lesson number 6 for those who attended the Evergreen Strategy Seminar. How are you going to calculate your trailing stop loss if it's the first time that you've heard about that concept? So if your average price is higher than the current price, calculate your trailing stop loss from your average price. If your average price is less than the current price, calculate your trailing stop loss from the current price. It's in your handouts. Okay, so last stock in our video is CAB. So CAB closed on Friday at 97.2. I'd like to mention as early as now that I'm not interested in trading Class B shares, especially that these have known volume related issues. Just take a look at CAB, right? So the support is at 85 pesos per share. Resistance is at 123. I am using a Fibonacci to identify these levels. So there you go. The 10 SMACD combo is invalid already. RSI is downward sloping. And take a look at this. The risk level is extremely high. Historical volatility is at 360%. Another reason why I'm not interested in trading CAB. So the downward momentum is getting stronger on CAB. So here, the dominant range of CAB with respect to its closing price of 97.2 is a lot closer to its, let's zoom this out so you can see it properly. Here, 97.2. So the dominant range is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. You can see it here. Okay. The true market sentiment last Friday was neutral. Despite that neutral true market sentiment, my overall sentiment is bearish on CAB. I really want to suggest that you should not trade CAB. That's my personal disclaimer or disclosure for CAB. I'm not interested in trading this stock. So again, this is our video for short-term trading purposes. I do hope you will have you put into practice those lessons that I taught you in the Evergreen Strategy Seminar. Again, my name is JC De Guzman. Have a profitable trading week ahead. Bye for now.